Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Report with me, George Maringa. My guest tonight is the Honorable Babu Owino, Member of Parliament for Embakasi East constituency. Mheshimiwa, there's a comment here. Tell Babu we need him as president in 2027. What do you have to say about that?
I can see, you know, there's a problem and there's leadership vacuum. Okay. The reason why they are saying so is because of probably the great work that they've seen me doing at Embakasi East constituency. And indeed, as Babu Owino, when I came from Nyalenda slums and the challenges that I used to experience, when a person tells me, a common mwananchi tells me that they are going without food, I know what it is to go without food, and therefore I know that I need to work for them. If they tell me that they lack school fee, I know what it means to lack fees, because I lacked fee at some point, so therefore I must work for them. If they tell me that they've slept in a cell and they've been jailed, I know what it is to be in a police cell, and therefore I know their challenges. If I see a mama mboga, it reminds me of my own mother who was selling changa, struggling to take us to school, to get us food, to pay our rent. If I see a youth, a Gen Z, having no job, I know what it is. Were it not for this election as a member of parliament, yes, I would be jobless now. I would have never been elected. That's why I respect my job so much, and that is why I must work for my people. And when it comes to my political ambition, I know that I can't run away from this. Just like Yona, when he was trying to run away from the call, he was swallowed by a fish and had to deliver God's message. If it is timely, then why not? In Senegal, we've had Faye, we've had Sonko, coming straight from the prison, 10 days to elections, to State House. And right now, Faye in Senegal has reduced taxes. You've seen that. A government that is meant to work for the people will reduce taxes. Because the government, yes, they should collect taxes, but not exorbitant taxes, not too much taxes. If you put high taxation, you will not get the revenue that you want as a government, because you will create low demand for that good that you're increasing a tax on. And therefore, there will be low supply on it. And therefore, it will even further lead to loss of jobs from the industries that are manufacturing those goods. And therefore, if it is as per the call of the people, then why not? Because the voice of the people is the voice of the Lord. Vox populi, vox Dei. So when the right time comes, we shall announce our ambition. As I said earlier before, I'm overqualified to be a president. I'm overqualified to be a governor of any county in this nation. I'm overqualified to be on any seat, because my mental faculty can handle that. And I can clearly tell you that in my basket of intelligentsia, I can handle that perfectly well.
Mishuki was saying he needs to look for a dictionary. In the meantime, but as Babu Owino, what do you feel right now?
As Babu Owino, I feel so happy about tomorrow, what will happen tomorrow, because for the first time, Kenyans have decided that enough is enough. They've said that leaders, mkae kando, some activists, mkae kando, those who will want to use this opportunity for their financial gain, wanafaa wakae kando kabisa, kabisa, so that at least this thing be a Gen Z-driven process. Let it be their own process. And wholly, I'm so sad with this government, so sick and tired of the promises they give, so sick and tired because our children cannot go to school. Are you aware that up to now 50,000 kids haven't joined Form 1 just because they lack school fees? Are you aware that a normal Kenyan cannot afford 3 meals in a day? Are you aware that people don't have jobs? It is so saddening. Those are the challenges that Kenyans are facing that are so challenging that makes me sad.
If you were president right now, what would you do?
Number one, suspend the finance bill. Wake up, tell members of parliament from Kenya Kwanza side, vote no tomorrow. That is
against your own government?
That is number one. Why? Because the president is making a finance bill for the people, not for himself. And if those people have said no, why don't you say no with them? Be on their side. Number two, the easiest way to spur up an economy, as was done in 1929 by Franklin D. Roosevelt, as he was then called, the then President of the United States of America, and he said, that the only thing to fear is fear itself. He went to the Great Britain and got an economist called John Maynard Keynes, who came up with a book called The General Theory that came up with the Keynesian theory. The Keynesian theory was stating clearly that put money into the pockets of the people so that you can create a spending frenzy. So that the moment people have money in their pockets, if they go to a shopkeeper to buy unga, right, and 1 million of them go to the shopkeeper, that shopkeeper will employ many people in that shop, and at the same time, that shopkeeper, to help him work or help her work, at the same time, that shopkeeper will go to the industry and tell the person at the industry that you know what, I need more flour, I need more flour, I need more sugar. Therefore, that manufacturer will also know that because the demand is high, they will want to supply more. As they supply more, they will employ more people to work in the industries. That is creation of more jobs. Yes. And at the same time, the moment they spur up the economy, that person in the industry will also say that I need to go back to the farmer to supply me with more raw materials. Okay. Also, the farmer will employ more people, right? Yeah. The farmer will buy more fertilizers, right? And that is creation of employment, spurring up an economy. And at that moment, we will achieve something called an economic equilibrium. Right? When aggregate demand meets an aggregate supply. At the optimum level, you achieve the optimum equilibrium and the economy grows. As simple as that. Build more industries to create jobs. Put money into the pockets of common mwananchi. Bring back what we were calling kazi mtaani, right? Lower the cost of education so that we also understand the role of education in the economic growth of a nation, in provision of skills, matter skills. If you go to the hospitals, you find people with skills. If you go to any sector, even here where we are today, you are a very skilled person, right? Because of training, because of education. So education's role in spurring up an economy is in provision of skills. And therefore, lower the cost of education so that many people can be trained as much as possible. They can be given jobs and they can provide jobs. Yes. So, and also lower the health sector. Yes. The cost of health should be lowered. Why? Because a sick nation cannot work, cannot provide proper labor, right? Therefore, everybody needs to be healthy to go to school. Our children, healthy to work, to provide labor in our industries, in our farms, in the service industries. So therefore, lower that cost also. The moment you do that, who will fight you? As Ruto. As Ruto. But because Ruto, we know you don't take advice. In fact, you advise your advisors on how to advise you. We know you will not listen.
Ask Babu if he's ready to take over, if we as Gen Z endorse him as our leader.
You know, already I taught these Gen Zs.
Yes.
These were my students. Right? These were my students. And they are doing something which is amazing. During the COVID period, do you remember?
Yes.
2020 up to 2021. Up to 2021, 2022, I was still teaching, yes. Right? And even the other year, 2023, I still taught, yes. Right? And I even did university education. So even those at the university, I also did get an opportunity to teach them. So I'm their teacher, and they're doing better. And personally, if they call, I will heed. That's it. Okay. Not taking an advantage, but should they call, I will heed. I will listen to them.
Good evening. Kindly tell Babu that Gen Z are waiting for him in 2027 election and his running mate should be Senator Sifuna.
Sifuna is a gentleman. Sifuna, I really like Sifuna because Sifuna fights for the interest of the people. He's one senator that means well. He's one senator that is always never on the side of the oppressors. He is on the side where the people are, where the people require his services. So generally, sisi tuko pamoja, tuko gangari, we have all that is required. Number one, Henry Kissinger said that a politician, a good leader must have 3 qualities. That number one, he must be intelligent, which we overqualify. Number two, that he must have a political acumen, which we overqualify. Number 3, the leader must have passion and energy, which we have to deliver. So we can therefore deliver for them. That's it.
Yeah, brilliant. You know, so to some feedback, Our leaders have let us down again and again. Bruce Tsiamba on X: "We'll be out here exercising our rights directly. Intimidations, abductions, and killing will not deter us from fighting for what is right for us. We need accountability of the borrowed money we are being imposed on." On this issue, and there is even a question on matters that debt. Let me just get this one to talk about. Please, can my brother Babu confirm to the president, if we need to pay China bills, we want to pay our loan direct to them. Tired now to a commission and paying and ending loans. That conversation on loans.
You know, Maringa, there's a big problem about loans. Generally, we don't have a problem with domestic loans because this is money that is circulating in Kenya.
Yes.
But we have a problem with foreign debts.
Okay.
We have a total of around 10 billion in terms of loans, close to approximately 10 billion, of which 48% is domestic and 52% approximately is foreign loans.
Foreign loans.
There is no problem with borrowing.
Okay.
The problem comes in where if you borrow, you use it for personal gains. If you borrow for corruption.
Yeah.
If you borrow for patrimonialism. Patrimonialism means that you borrow to misuse, to please the keys to power, to please those who are around you. And therefore, borrowing is not a problem. But if you borrow for those reasons, for those bad reasons and recurrent expenditure, then it means that that loan is called unproductive loan.
Okay.
If you get unproductive loan, then definitely you are killing that nation. You need to borrow for development, right? The theory of borrowing was opined by a gentleman, an Italian-American economist, who was called Franco Modigliani, as he was then known, right? Franco Modigliani came up with what we call the theories of consumption.
Okay.
And under theories of consumption, discussed what we call the life cycle hypothesis.
Yes.
And he said in life cycle hypothesis that you, as you are working here as Maringa, what you are earning now might not be congruent, might not help you probably build a house that you want in future. That what you need to own in 70 years' time, you can own it now by taking a loan, as long as you pay, you repay for it over a period of time. That is productive loan. But if you borrow to go and drink, if you borrow to go and misuse, that is not productive borrowing. That is non-productive borrowing. Therefore, the monies that we've been borrowing as a nation is monies that we've been borrowing, but is lost on corruption.
Okay. Is
lost on pleasing people. That is patrimonialism. And this money is wasted on other things and also recurrent expenditure. So borrowing is not bad, but the Kenyan borrowing is extremely bad and dangerous because it is wastage.
Okay. Tony is saying, ask Babu to look for the boys who were abducted so that they can join us tomorrow morning. Have you initiated any search and rescue?
Actually, I've really communicated, and I also moved in a few police stations today. Okay. And I went to look for Shadi because I've known Shadi from 2009. When I joined in 2008, Shadi was in second year, I was in first year. From 2009, when I was contesting for a seat in SONU Students Organization of Nairobi University. Because I really feel that that such a young man or any other person, that shouldn't happen to them just because they are fighting for their rights. So we are still searching for this person, and because there was CCTV that also revealed on how he was being abducted, we know that we will get the faces of these officers who did so with time. And I know that wherever Shadi is, I'm really praying that he is safe, and that should not prevent any Kenyan from going on the streets tomorrow. Go there, demonstrate peacefully, just do it because it is a constitutional right. So long as you do it within the tenets of the Constitution, there is no problem. Do not listen to Kindiki. Whatever he said was pure gibberish, pure balderdash, and do not listen to that. So listen to your soul. Remember that we've already lost as Kenyans. So there's nothing more to lose except the chains. Yes.
Ask Babu, Boni asking, ask Babu what is his plans for the education sector that has been deemed by the UDA government.
The education sector is simple. The moment you finish with the finance bill, Gen Zs, the next thing is education. It's lower cost of education. And it will be done in the same way. It will be done in the same way. And the same best way is the streets. Let the streets, let the cost of education be lowered in the streets. And it shall happen because they still do not listen. And the moment we finish this, we go to education. One item at a time.
One item at a time. Hello, sir. Hi to Babu. My question is, Frank is asking, I seem to have lost that question. We'll be getting later, but I saw the glimpse of it is that why, if you could offer that advice in actuality as in a position of leadership, if you were to vie for a different position, would you be able to implement this? Because we have seen leaders come and say these things before, but when they get into office, the implementation is quite different.
You know, Maringa, I'm one of the members of parliament who has been ranked by Infotrack, that is a credible research firm, and other research firms. They've ranked me as among the top performers, among the top performing members of parliament in Kenya. And because of my work, that is why I was re-elected by the people of Embakasi's constituency, doubling the votes of my opponent, right? That shows you that I was doing something.
Yes.
And if you can be entrusted with something little, you can be given something big. As a story is told of a king in the book of Luke in the Bible, the king who left to be crowned a master. Then he called his 3 servants. One servant he gave 5 minas, and the second servant he gave 3 minas, and the third servant he gave 1 mina. Then after being crowned, when he came back, he called all the servants. Then the first servant to whom he gave 5 minas, said clearly that, Master, you gave me 5, I doubled it, I invested, and here are the 10 minas. He was given 10 cities to manage. The second one said, my master, I used the 3 minas you gave me, and I spent them well. Here are 6 minas, I doubled them. And he gave him six regions to man, to take care of, to take charge of. And then the last servant, whom was given 1, came and said, my master, I knew you. And I knew that you're a bad man. I knew you were a greedy man. And the one that you gave me, I knew you'd ask it back. Therefore, I kept it and I've brought it back. Then that servant said that you are a foolish master, right? You are not a wise master. You are not a servant, sorry. You are a foolish servant. You are not a wise servant. And therefore, even this one that you have shall be taken away from you and given to those who have. And that is why Jesus Christ said that the little that you have, if you don't use it well, shall be taken away from you and added to those who have. And therefore, me as Babu Owino, the little that I was entrusted with, I've doubled it. And now it is in the eyes of the Kenyans, in the hands of Gen Zs, in the hands of millennials, in the hands of the Generation X and baby boomers, in their hands to determine what to give me as Babu Owino.
Yeah, we found the question from Frank. He says, hello, sir, question to Babu. My question is, can Babu and some other bright opposition leaders sit with the president and share these bright ideas and give such advice of stabilizing the economy? Frank.
I told you, Maringa, you cannot advise the president. The president advises his advisors on how to advise him. Okay. So there is no need of sitting with him.
There is an MP, Hello TV 47, Vishi Mulo watching from Embu. Kudos to Babu Owino, and I must say that you need more people like him in Kenya. There is also feedback regarding Kenyan MPs have been state captured. There is nothing that we Kenyans can celebrate on Ruto's government. He lied to Kenyans, and why should Gen Z suffer? Surely while the First Lady's office is allocated a lot of money, does he know there are Kenyans who are sleeping hungry with no jobs? When you see such feedback, and especially the allocations, in the minority report that you submitted in the budget committee, is it that none of your report conclusions or amendments or suggestions or recommendations?
They never take them into consideration because they say that majority will have their way. The minority will have their say. So it is just about talking, but those people, they implement what the majority says. But it is my advice that Mama Rachel is a respectable lady in this nation. Please, Mama Rachel, you are respected so much. Please advise your husband, advise Ruto to do something about this nation before it is too late. Okay. Yes.
Mheshimiwa, this is the matter that has been in court for you, regarding the DJ Wolf matter. How is that going?
The matter, as you know, you are a very intelligent person, a learned person, and you are taught in school that a matter that is before a competent court of law is sub judice. You should not talk about it. Right. So once it's done, I will come back here. I will explain everything. In fact, I will explain everything from the beginning. Yes.
We will look for you when that matter is done. Good evening, Babu. Tell Babu Owino to talk more on TSC, which has been hijacked by Kenya Kwanza and dishing out letters in burials.
It is quite unfortunate that people go to school. Once they finish, they can't get jobs. To a tune of, they spend a tune of 15 years down the line, they can't be employed. It is quite sad, quite emotional, and at the same time, the TSC was threatening the JSS teachers that are going to sack them. And the next fight that the Gen Zs will also help us with is the fight for our JSS teachers, that those teachers should never be suspended. Those teachers should get jobs. They should not be expelled from their jobs. And therefore, the TSC, you need to do the right thing. Do the right thing because it is the right thing that you should do. And the right thing that should be done is to issue jobs based on merit. Based on merit, nothing else. Do not issue letters through backdoor. Do not discriminate on other Kenyans. All Kenyans are the same, irrespective of how they voted, irrespective of their tribes, irrespective of where they come from. A Kenyan is a Kenyan, and therefore they must be respected as such.
Hello, kindly ask Mheshimiwa Babu, kwa sababu kama ile karate skill is still at par, we use it tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, I started training long ago, and that is for physical fitness. It is for physical fitness. It is for self-defense. If a police officer comes on the wrong side and provokes, then it can be applied on their jaws. Yes, but generally it's for physical fitness. And karate is a sport for discipline. Yes.
Mheshimiwa, as we enter the home stretch, more feedback. Hello, ask Babu Owino what he will do. I think that on your answer to the Azimio MPs who betrayed us.
Yes, the Azimio MPs who betrayed us, I said that their structures, they should be worked on as soon as possible. Yes.
Hello, I'm Kipngeno Ozil from Nakuru County. I really appreciate the work that Babu Owino is doing to Kenyans. I urge to stand with common mwananchi and hopefully next election Babu will be our president.
Thank you, Kiprono. Thank you so much. You are a true comrade. I'm also a comrade. Once a comrade, always a comrade.
Okay. Hi, Babu. Ask Babu, in his opinion, if the streets won't work this time, what other option do we have as Kenyans?
Streets will work.
Okay.
Let me tell you, streets will work. I can assure you 101%. If you're given a choice to choose between law and force, choose force. A combination of both will work best, but force will give you instant results. And that force is on the streets. And those streets, they are peaceful protests, but it will give you results. I can tell you 101%. It will give you results. Something will be done. Yes.
Hello, it's just what Omulefutel. Babu, he inspires me to go for the Busia gubernatorial seat since the dedication he's talking about isn't so clear in our leaders. They pretend to be in Azimio, but with the Ruto's hearts. Please, we need free education and free hospitals. In fact, it says, what legislation would be passed on improving education and health in the country?
Perfect. Now, my brother, you want to go for gubernatorial seat. If Babu Owino came from Nyalenda slums and now is in parliament, you can be there. There is no difference between you and Babu Owino. You can be there anytime. Just be dedicated, be passionate about what you want, be consistent, be disciplined, work hard, and above all, put God first, because the Bible says that you seek ye unto the kingdom of God first, and every other thing shall be added unto you. About education and health, it is very simple. There are so many laws that have been set up to that is covering health and our education sector. Some are very retrospective, some are very retrogressive. They act backwards, and such laws like this new funding model should be amended. Should be amended to allow people to get access to education, quality education for that matter, because education is so expensive in Kenya. The cost of education should be lowered. It matters health. There are some terminal illnesses, there's some diseases like cancer that needs to be treated for free in Kenya because it is so costly and we are losing people. And there are certain diseases that must be, the medicine must be made available to people just for free, so that at least we have a healthy nation.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi Maringa, I'm Kefa Alloys from Tharaka-Nithi. Ask Babu, my Sonu chair, if he thinks IMF has a hand in running our country.
There is more than meets the eye.
Okay.
And when it comes to even increment of this, of the central bank rates, if we talk about it, it has hit the highest at 13%, almost the highest in Africa. What does 13% mean? It means that when the commercial banks are going to take loans from central bank, they are taking it at a higher interest rate. Then the consumer, the common mwananchi who is going to take loans from these commercial banks will take them at a higher interest rates. It means that two things will happen. Number one, that if those loans are high, if the interest rates are high, then people will no longer take them, so they will not have capital to start businesses. Number two, that if they manage to take loans, the industries for manufacturing, for example, or people to start businesses, then they will raise the cost of goods that they produce, so that at least they can get money to repay loans from the raised cost of goods. That means that high cost of living, because the common mwananchi will buy those goods at higher prices. So definitely there's a lot that is happening when it comes to World Bank and IMF. I don't want to go so much into it. My comrade there already has an idea about what is happening. Absolutely. But that is just an example of what I've told you. Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, so much feedback coming in. We'll be able to, try and sample a lot, but unfortunately we've run out of time. And I want you to, take this time to speak to Kenyans, your fellow leaders, and of course your message, even as you end up the program tonight.
Thank you, Maringa. The most important thing that I want to tell Kenyans is that let us never lose hope. This is our nation. We will build it together. If it is a must that we must bring it down to build afresh, let us do so. Tomorrow we have destiny with our future, and therefore you must stand up for your country. From wherever you are, a Gen Z, a millennial, a baby boomer, a Generation X, you must come out in large numbers. You must fight for your interest. You must fight for your life. You must fight for your future. Go on the streets. Let it be as peaceful as possible. Let those people who are coming, who might have very bad intentions of destroying your demonstrations, if they come amongst yourselves, you know how to identify them. Please arrest such persons. Take them to the nearest police station if they are coming to destroy your demonstrations. But demonstrations should start at 6 a.m. in the morning, should run to past midnight. This idea of you being told that demonstrations should stop at 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m., that is the thought of somebody else. That's somebody else's school of thought. And therefore, we must stand up for our rights. Because if we don't do so, we will be finished. As things stand, we are already done. We must fight.
Brilliant. Collins from Kirinyaga, ask Dr. Babu, GET anafungua saa ngapi kesho?
GET asubuhi mapema, mimi nitakuwa bunge. Mkipiga tu firimbi ya kwanza, mtanipata hapo nje.
Asante sana.
Karibuni, hiyo bunge ni yenyu. Come to bunge, come and see where you took us. That parliament belongs to you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Indeed, Honorable Babu Owino, Member of Parliament Embakasi East, thank you so much for joining us in the program. We thank you also for your tremendous feedback. That's all the time we had for tonight. I am George Maringa. The conversation continues online. Use the handles that we gave you at TV47 News, at George Maringa _ at HE Babu Owino. Keep the feedback coming, of course. It doesn't end here, but that's all we had for. I'll see you tomorrow on the People's Court. Stay safe and be kind to one another. You can wish them a good night.
Thank you very much, Kenyans. Have a lovely night. Kesho tukutane kwa kiwanja. Wear rubber shoes. Kuja hapo, dawa ya tear gas iko. Don't fear anything. Come and fight for your right.
Good night from Nairobi.
Good night.